Hey, welcome. I'm Cath Nolan, once high-performing perfectionist good girl turned goddess of balance, kicking even bigger goals. This is the podcast where we make balance doable for busy, overstretched working women, embracing your voice, honoring your feminine power, and protecting your energy. This allows you to truly step into greatness for the sake of all you hold dear. This is balance, and I am so glad you are here claiming balance for yourself. I am so excited to bring you this episode. My guest today is Cherie Hutchinson. She's the tourism and farm manager for Jurlique. She's also a single mum, a deep feeler, and one of those rare humans who genuinely leads with both strength and softness. In this chat today, we talk about how nourishment, the real kind, not the day spa version, which is really ironic because, like, hello, Jurlique. We talk about how the real kind of nourishment actually helps bring us back to who we are, even in the mess, even in the chaos. Cherie is a beacon for noticing what's working and leaning into it. You'll hear us talk about leadership, motherhood, rituals, beauty, and what it takes to keep showing up with heart. This one is full of reminders that you didn't know that you needed. Let's dive in. Cherie, I want to ask you, I've had questions for you sort of bubbling since we started speaking a while back. You once said to me that your secret to balance is honesty with yourself and others. What does that look like for you? Like across a regular, real, messy week, what does that look like to you?
This is a habit that I've had to form over and over again in my life.
Yeah.
When I wasn't living my true self, I'd tell a lot of white lies. It could be as simple as seeing a friend for a coffee and me running late and me not saying I'm running late. I'd say I'm 5 minutes away when really I was 10.
Yeah.
So, like, it was just like really little things that I've really tried to work in and keep telling my message and my correct message and sharing. I can't go to that dinner because I don't want to. I actually need to spend some time by myself. That's really hard to do because I don't want to let anyone down, the classic people pleaser. So it's a muscle that I've had to work on. Now, obviously, talking of business, I'm lucky enough to run a horticultural farm, and I'm moving my role now into more tourism than ever more. But my background's not in horticulture or management in farm, and I didn't know a lot of what I had to do. So I had to use this muscle earlier on in my tenure running this farm, which is now 12 years. I don't know how to do that. Show me how to do it, even though I was their manager. And so I had to be really vulnerable and open. And what I found from doing that, one, I was honest with myself and not hiding what I didn't know. And it gained a lot of trust with my team. So, actual fact, I did that more in my career more. And then I've applied it more at home with my personal life. So it's simple things. But they're the things that eat at you. So then when you rock up to that coffee date and you're 10 minutes, not five, it's not authentic. And it's because you don't want to let people down, but just say you're 10 and they're going to be okay. So it's just relearning and finding that messaging in there. And when I went through a really tricky period with a really horrible relationship, I did a lot of white lies through that time because I didn't want to show anyone what I was going through. So I hid behind fake messages that I would give my friends and family that everything was okay, and it wasn't. And what happened was I got deeper and deeper in a hole. So the minute I started opening up and sharing is the minute I started climbing out. So kind of went around in circles there with my answer, but yeah, hopefully that resonated a little bit with you of how living authentically and genuinely actually gets you back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't you find that, that resonates so strongly for me? Cherie, I think that those tiny little comments, I had goosebumps when you said, I'll be 5 minutes when really you know you're going to be 10. You're actually building a bank. And I think we've all had times of doing that. It's how we're
Mhm.
conditioned to not let people down. But when you do
Mhm.
that, you're building up this bank within your identity that says, I'm not quite as good as I am saying that I am. But
Yep.
you're always letting people down. Whereas if you just said I'm 10 minutes late, they don't
Yep.
care. You don't care.
No,
It's not the lateness that is the worry. It's the
it's
messages you're telling yourself, isn't it?
it really is, yeah. And it's something I have to continually work on because I
Mm.
lived in that space for so long, even before my relationship as well. Just not wanting to let people down. And that's where it
Mm.
came from. And you're right, your cup overrunneth of, of small
Yeah.
white lies. And it's not good. It's not good for your body. And so that was one of the biggest things I pulled out of when I knew I had to leave. That was the minute I stopped doing those white lies.
Well done, you.
Mm,
Well
mm,
done, you. You said about that mix between you were doing it well at work first and then at home.
mm.
How much crossover do you think that there is between your leadership lessons and your parenting lessons?
Oh gosh, they are intertwined. Absolutely. I've also been a coach in my sporting life as well, and I find all three skill sets are interwoven. Coaching a team, leadership, people leadership, and parenting. And so, and geez, it comes down to honesty, doesn't it? The other thing I learnt even really early on, I was a coach when I was about 15 for the first time, is that you can't coach all the players the same.
Yeah.
And so that is the same of leadership and it's the same of parenting. My two boys are very different. And so I've definitely carried a lot of those messages in my earlier years as a coach to then being a people leader to now being a mum. There's definitely a lot intertwined for sure.
Mm. I wanted to ask you about reflection, and now I really, really, really want to ask you about reflection after you just said, because um, I feel as though you strike me as someone who has spent a lot of time on reflection, and for you to have spent that time on reflection, to come away from a relationship and say, this is the thing that I'm not doing that I won't be doing the same again, to come away from coaching and say, this is what I've learned from coaching. I'm going to apply this in the different parts of my life that, lead people
Mm.
differently based on the person. Does that, how have you, I mean, have you done this consciously? Or has it just come over time? Is it because you've been reflecting deeply, or is it something you're just aware of?
It's a bit of both. I go through periods where I'm in deep reflection, and then times where I'm just living,
Mm,
and so I can feel when I'm getting empty, when just living, and I
mm,
need some time for reflection, and that's a time for me right now. I need to fill up my reflection bucket and go again, and that's when I gravitate to those more self-help type podcasts and books and even memes. I love little poems or memes or
yeah.
just something that I can gravitate to. I find myself though, you can get bogged down by that. And then you just have to go, okay, and now it's time for a bit of fun. Seeing your girlfriends, going for a wine, going for a girls' retreat,
Yeah.
and doing all of those things as well. So it is a bit of a wave. I would have called it a roller coaster ride in years gone by,
Yeah.
and now I'm trying to find my natural cadence, my natural flow.
Mm,
But I definitely do need it. Even as a young teenager, I remember all my girlfriends going to parties, and talking of the lie again, I used to lie and say, "Oh no, my parents won't let me go out this weekend," and I actually could. I needed to be at home,
yeah.
um, and I'm an extrovert, but I also very much need that time on self reflection,
Yeah.
um, and I always am trying to do better and be better. I've had a number of challenging bosses in my time as well,
Mm,
and I've actually found my biggest lessons have been learnt in what I don't want to be. And then reflecting on that and how can I twist that into a 180 and make that into a positive. So
mm,
I ran a recruitment company for a number of years before running a farm.
mm,
And I was so scared to resign. Gosh, I was scared.
mm,
I didn't want to let her down, and I couldn't sleep for weeks. And so I've applied that learning to my team. Is I never want them to feel like they can't leave.
yeah.
I want to see people flourish, and I want to lead from a place of kindness and empathy, so that if they don't want to do this work anymore, that's okay. I want to see them flourish as a human. But I had to learn that lesson from years gone by in a manager that I saw where I was scared to leave. And so I've applied that learning.
Can you think of it? Can you share a moment where I'm really curious about this reflection? Can you share a moment where that reflection helped you to course correct before things tipped out of balance?
Um, yeah, I think I'm actually going through something now that might resonate. It's about my personal life and sport.
Mm.
So I probably pushed it a little bit too far. So I'm a netballer. I've been playing netball, and I've met a bunch of amazing new women into my life since my separation, and I met them when I was going through it,
Wow.
and then formed, like, some of them are friends for life, and I tried to keep playing, and my body was saying no. But I gravitated to these women, and I didn't want to let that friendship go. And I pushed my body too hard,
Yeah.
and it was I definitely played too long. And
Yeah.
I played for an extra season too long, and I'm going to play another sport now and reopen up another friendship circle I had before my ex. So yeah, it's a lesson I've learning right now is I actually knew about a year and a half ago that I needed to quit, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. And my
Mm.
body told me otherwise. So
Yeah.
I've had some lot of reflections on that period, and I made a decision in October, and it was really hard because I thought I was going to lose my friends from walking away from the sport. And in actual fact, if we just had a big conversation together, I would have realised that they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're always learning, aren't you, Catherine? So
Yes.
that's one that I probably let go a little bit too long, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping to not have to course correct so take so long to course correct.
Yeah. Well done,
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Well done, you. What's the new sport going to be?
Lacrosse.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, so my childhood was spent on the tennis and the netball court.
Mhm.
Boys were football and cricket, and a combination of tennis and netball is lacrosse. So I gravitated that to my late 20s, and I played it for a number of years. And then I've met my ex and quit sport and quit a lot of things through that period, and gravitated towards netball as I had my babies, just a little bit closer to home. And yeah, I've decided it's time to go back to lacrosse. So there you go.
You.
Almost 45 years old. What am I doing, Catherine?
Can't wait to see how this journey unfolds. How fabulous.
Yeah.
How fabulous. And so for the last 12 and a half years or so, 12 and a half years you've been at
Yeah.
Jurlique.
Yeah, that's correct.
What's kept you grounded there?
Literally the ground.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm a person that needs change in my life, and
Mm.
so it doesn't matter where I work. I will want something new. To
Mm.
gravitate to, I always want to be learning and giving more back to the business that I work for, and
Mm.
so I've been able to apply that at Jurlique. So my first 2 years was production manager in the filling hall.
Mhm.
I came to the farm as a more of a secondment for 6 months, and my grandparents only lived around the corner from the farm, so I felt like instantly my heart was pulling,
Yeah.
and I ended up falling pregnant in my 6 month tenure, and my boss said, "You know what? Maybe you should come back after you come back from maternity leave." So I ended up doing my diploma in horticulture, and then I did that. I had 2 children and been running the farm. And in the last few years, my heart's been pulling towards tourism.
Yeah.
So now my career journey goes somewhere else. So yeah.
Amazing. So what does tourism look like at the farm?
We actually have walking tours on the property here, where customers can actually see what we do at Jurlique, what we grow, all the healing herbs,
Yeah.
beautiful natural skincare, and now we're 7 days a week. So in 2020, I ran the farm. I did the tours. I did the sales of the products all by myself.
Yes.
And then in 21, I got a guide, so it's just the two of us. And then in 22, we got another person, and so we've just been able to grow it and grow it and grow it. So,
How
um,
fabulous.
yeah, so Jurlique has kept me grounded. There's just so many ways that running a horticultural farm with healing herbs, and I'm so fortunate to do what I do.
Mm,
And at the same time, I've created a new world for myself that didn't
mm,
exist before. So yeah, it's been a really amazing and interesting journey. And now people say, "My gosh, you've got the job of my dreams," but it didn't start like that.
and you
Um,
created it.
it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of triumphs of some great people around me,
Yeah.
a wonderful team that has also helped me through my own personal journey too.
Yeah. How
Mm,
lovely.
mm,
Cherie, you do work with one of the most beautifully nature connected brands. How does
yes.
being in that environment affect your own impact, your energy and your mindset, do you think?
Well, there's lessons in nature
Mm.
every single day. So I was born in winter. I'm a June baby. I
Yeah.
love winter. And in my deeper reflection moments, realizing that winter is a time to pause and reflect and recover.
Yes.
And so I've been able to learn a lot from nature on how you should live and breathe through the world. So it's been an amazing journey to heal on farm,
Yeah.
and then create so many different lessons for myself, and messaging in plants, and the nature of a lot of pharmaceutical type healing herbs we grow as well,
Yeah.
drinking natural teas that we make, collecting the honey from the hives.
Yeah.
Catherine, I'm so lucky. Like, it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous that I get to live and breathe this world. And I've had some really sad situations happen in the last couple of years. I'm very, very fond of our rose breeder who bred the Jurlique rose, and he
Yes.
sadly passed away 18 months ago. And he was a dear, dear friend and a true gentleman. Filled my man bucket up, let me tell you.
Yes.
But the first thing I did when I heard the news is I went out and started weeding,
Yes.
and I just needed my hands in the soil. And there's just something about it, the lessons I've been able to get from working on this beautiful farm. It's been amazing.
Divine. That's divine.
Mm. Mm.
Cherie, how do you think that translates to your role now? So, um, the tourism side of what you're doing now, you're welcoming other people into this experience. What do you hope that other people can walk away with when they visit? Because there's some beautiful big messages there that you've got to share.
Oh, and I'm rambling a lot, but there's just so much to say. We also we farm biodynamically here as well, so we're organic and biodynamic, and there's no pesticides, no herbicides, and um, we've lost our way in our connection to nature.
Mm,
And I think COVID was such a great resetter on getting back out in the garden and enjoying what life's all about. So simple pleasures.
yeah,
And that's what farm tourism, agritourism does for me.
mm,
I get to connect with people, which is my joy, and fill their nature bucket up,
yeah,
and get their appreciation for their own home garden. And it doesn't have to be big. I know a lot of people visit us from big major cities, and they might have a pot on their windowsill that they
mm,
look after, and it might be some basil that they sprinkle on their pasta. But
so
when
true.
when you transfer your energy into what you do, and when you transfer your energy into your plants, you then get to transfer that energy into your food. And so there's a real sense of harmony that comes from that. And it's the simple pleasures that life's all about.
Yeah,
And relaxing, taking your time, breathing in the fresh air. And even on a rainy day, always say, it's such a shame that it's raining, but what would you be doing now? And most people be just sitting inside, and not really taking it all in. And so there's so much goodness that comes from tourism.
yeah, gorgeous,
Mm,
gorgeous,
mm,
gorgeous. I keep thinking about those photos of you. So that you posted on LinkedIn the other day, and there was a photo of you in 2018, 2025, and your message I think started with, "What would you tell your younger self?"
mm,
Cherie, both the photos are gorgeous photos, but the photo from this year, your energy and your happiness just glow. Oh my goodness. What are you most proud of in the woman that you've become?
That I'm me.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I don't know why, something just came into my head. Um, about 8 months, 9 months after I separated, I'd been to the shops and I was walking inside and I started whistling.
Yeah.
It's such a simple moment. And I realized that I hadn't whistled for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Whistling gives you a sense of being carefree.
Yeah.
And it was a moment of going, oh, I'm coming back. I could start seeing color again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm proud of.
Yeah.
I remember in that deep reflection moment of thinking one day I'll sit on a park bench and the sun will be shining and I'll be looking up and there's heat on my face and I'm carefree and realizing that I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm most proudest of, is that what I hoped my future could be, I actually am living it now.
Well done, you. Congrats. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Cherie, what's next? So, given you've given so much of your work to your family, to your own growth, what's the next chapter that you're dreaming of? I hear it includes lacrosse.
I I think it's that sense of community that's around me, because even in the last couple of years, while I've actually been living an amazing, magical life, I've also gone down and up and down and up in my own little journeys. I'm really looking forward to bringing a better cadence to my world where I don't binge eat. That's one of my fallbacks, the chocolate at night. So exercise for me is really important. My personal trainer, I met in 2021, and then she had a baby, and I decided I could do this all by myself, and I realized I can't do this all by myself. So I'm uh, really concentrating on the community that's around me, ensuring that they're celebrated, and I'm starting to realize that I want to shed some light onto other people's path. Elizabeth Gilbert says it best in her world, and how she's created her life as well. I've got so many lessons from her as well. So I just want to share my journey and keep living my true self. And I do have some grand plans, but can I say them out loud yet? I'm not sure, but um, they're pretty crazy ideas. But I think just having something to look forward to and being and daring to dream. I mean, it just feels so great to live like that. I can't wait for my next girls trip. We haven't planned it yet, but we will soon. And having people around me that has the right energy and living my truth, and hopefully and more will come.
And most importantly, we got you in the message there, which is great. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
as
great.
you were speaking, we were good. Um, Cherie, that was my last question. How absolutely divine to speak with you. Thank you so much for sharing your time.
No worries.
I mean, beautiful to share, well, beautiful to have the excuse of a podcast. And I know that this message will really resonate for a lot of people. And I know this because, because your story sharing gave me goosebumps. Like, I know that it resonated for so much for me. I know it will do for other people as well. You really do have a beautiful way of spinning a story.
Thank you. It's just truth. That's
Yeah,
what it is. Mm.
yeah. But sometimes truth can be rambling and messy, and you can have the messy bits of the story in it, and you just don't. You really do carry a story with grace and grit. It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Um, I think what resonates for me as well, and connecting with each other on LinkedIn as well, is like you just felt the energy was right,
Yeah,
and um, I'm looking forward to more.
yeah,
And I know my cup's runneth over. With some amazing people in my life, and yeah, I'm just really excited to keep continuing to grow and learn and flourish together, and help others that they've lost their way, because I know what that feels like.
mm,
um and I didn't think I was going to make it. I really, really didn't. It was as deep as you can imagine. And I wish I could talk to her because I've always been strong, but I completely lost that part of myself, and I don't know how it happened.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm really feeling for people out there that might understand this message or might be going through it themselves, and just start with something so small. I remember just putting my perfume on again. I wasn't allowed to wear my perfume,
Mm.
and I put my perfume on again. It's just something simple.
Mm.
And then, gravitated to a podcast and started talking to somebody that I really admired and asked if she'd be my mentor for a little while. And it was just simple little things. And day by day, week by week, I just started getting that little bit stronger. But when you get stronger, sometimes it can get worse because they can recognize that.
Yeah.
So that's when you've really got to think about who are the people that I am that got around me, and be true to you. Share what you're going through with others. It's really important.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so true. And yet we are conditioned not to. And I think with
Mm,
those particular circumstances, I certainly relate.
mm.
Yeah. Um, I think that there are many reasons why you learn not to share. I think partly because of, childhood and societal conditioning, but also because of the situation that you're in and, living
Yeah.
with someone who does want to keep you small.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's yeah, it was a scary time. But thank goodness I'm out.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done. Well done. I'm curious about how your path. I'm not even curious. I'm really glad for you that through that period you had such a strong connection to nature,
Mm-mm.
and particularly that connection to nature was in a location that had such heritage meaning for you.
Oh yeah. I think it would have taken me longer
Mm,
if I wasn't in that environment. It would have happened eventually. I had to. It was life or death. That's
yeah.
how it felt to me. Um, but yeah, it was an opportunity to really use nature to heal as well. That first year out was hard. It was really hard. And you do come off a natural high initially. But I was scared. I was scared that something might happen to me or my children. Like
Yeah.
we didn't even get into this part of it really, but you know, I just can't. I can't overemphasize. Sorry, is having really strong people around you
Mm,
and start being really honest. Just start being really, really honest with yourself and others. And the first people that I was honest to was my parents.
mm,
Oof, that was hard.
mm.
Because I wanted them to believe the fairy tale, and
Yeah.
it wasn't. And the minute I told them was the minute I knew I had to get out.
Yeah.
And then they gave me my strength back. So it was yeah, it was pretty hard journey that. And then my friends one by one. And that was really hard as well because you don't want to be that vulnerable in front of them. You want to show a good face, right? You want to, I'm okay. I'll be right.
Yeah.
She'll be right, mate. It's a very farming term. But I wasn't all right,
Yeah.
and I needed people. And yeah, yeah. And finally, I gathered my strength back. Mm.
Cherie, um, now I am curious again. Building that courage to the courage to build new connections when you've shut that part of you off for such a long time.
Mm.
I think that even people who don't have such a torturous reason for having shut down, maybe it's just a matter of circumstances, maybe it's that they, moved into a different job, had kids, moved away, whatever.
Mm.
And so those connections feel lost.
Mm.
What's your advice for building connections?
Oh gosh, I think you need to be doing something that resonates with you. So for me,
Mm,
it was sport.
yeah.
But I was so unfit through that period. I was probably 20 kilos heavier and I was so not myself. But I had a skill set there though. So I lent on that skill set and I had one friend. in that particular group that I knew really well. And then, grabbing 10 minutes to grab a cup of coffee after, or a glass of champagne after a match. And even though I wasn't allowed to have that time, I took it anyway. and then the more conversations I had with these people that I admired, these ladies that I admired, the more strength I gained. So you can feel it in your body. I felt it in my body. A particular friend I'm thinking of right now, so much joy and light, and yeah, she was just fantastic for me, and I don't think she realised just how much she helped me through that period. And then there was another friend, and then another friend, and you just kind of you built on it. But for me, it's sport. It could be craft. It could be walks in nature, forming a friendship circle around bushwalking. It could be anything, but I think you need to start on something that you have a little bit of comfort in and build from there. So that's what I did. That's probably a lesson I'd love to share with others.
I believe that women do help other women. I hope that this episode has empowered you to question your willingness to go last. I hope that you will embrace balance, and I'm also hoping that you will help me to help other women to do the same. So how can you help? Show your support for the work. Subscribe and review the podcast here where you're listening. Follow the Goddess of Balance on Instagram to catch some cheeky behind the scenes and extras. Connect with me on LinkedIn and share the posts with your network. That would be sensational. If you have enjoyed this program, this episode, you will no doubt love my group coaching program. You've got to find all the links to these in their little written blurb for this episode. Thank you, my friend, for normalizing balance with me. We are raising performance and reputations, wellness and equality. Together, we're creating positive change for working women, starting with you. Sincerely, I thank you for being part of the movement.